You took the phone away, and then it came back, because it always comes back. It feels like control, but it's the opposite. Every lock, every contract, every app does the managing for them. And the whole goal is a kid who can manage them themselves. When you are not there, it's the rage, the fight. You become the enemy, that bill comes due. At 19, you delayed the problem for the moment you are not there to help. A teen who's been policed goes underground. The crash, the cruel comment, the disaster. You brought a house rule to a fight against $100 billion of engineering. They'll have one in their pocket for the rest of their lives. And you won't be there. Someone's been making a fool of them. Phone away was never going to work in the first place. So if control doesn't work, what does? You took the phone away. For a week, maybe two. You stood your ground, you survived the meltdown, you felt like a parent who finally did the hard thing. And then it came back, because it always comes back. Because school needs it, because the bus app is on it, because every other kid has one, and you're not going to make yours the one who doesn't. And within 3 days, you were exactly where you started. The phone came back and nothing had changed. And not because your kid is stubborn or you were too soft. Because taking the phone away was never going to work in the first place. And today I'm going to tell you why and what actually does. The thing is, you are not fighting your teenager. You are fighting the design. And you are losing not because you are weak, but because you brought a house rule to a fight against $100 billion of engineering. That phone in your kid's hand was built deliberately by very smart people with very large budgets to be difficult to put down. The endless scroll, the pull to refresh, the notification that arrives exactly when attention dips, the streak you lose if you stop, the video that autoplays before you've decided to watch it. None of that is an accident. All of it is design. So when you say just put it down, you're asking your teenager to win with willpower alone, a fight that grown adults with fully developed brains lose every single day. You lose it, I lose it, the engineers who built it lose it. If you think this is about willpower, you don't understand what they are up against. Now, right about here, someone's thinking, fine, I won't physically grab the phone. I'll use a screen time app, Family Link, the built-in limits, an app that logs them out at 10 p.m. or a phone contract. Sign here, these are the rules. Cleaner, less of a fight. Feels modern. Yes, these aren't worthless. And for a younger kid, 11-year-old, 12, a screen time limit is a completely reasonable training wheel. So I'm not telling you to delete them. I'm telling you what they are and what they're not. Because most parents lean on them as the whole answer. And they shouldn't. 2 problems. First, they are failable. And your teen is smarter than the app. This is the generation that grows up inside these systems. They know the workarounds. The second device, the browser version of the app the limit doesn't cover, the factory reset, the friend's phone, the setting loophole that gets patched and replaced by a new one within a week. So you are not in a technology arms race you can win. You are up against someone with more time, more motivation, and frankly, more fluency than you have. The lock gives you a feeling of control. It does not give your teen less screen. It gives them a puzzle and they will solve it. And now they've learned something that's corrosive, that the rules are a thing to be beaten and they can beat them. Same outcome as confiscation. They go around you, you lose visibility, and you don't even know the limit failed. The second problem is, and this is the one that really matters after about 15, the app stops reading as protection and starts reading as distrust. There's a line in a kid's development where a hard external lock flips meaning. To an 11-year-old, the screen limit is just a rule, like bedtime. To a 16-year-old, it says something specific and wounding. I don't trust your judgment. I'm managing you like a child. And they're not entirely wrong. That is what it does. You are a couple of years from this person being a legal adult, making every one of these decisions alone. And the app says you don't believe they can begin to. So they resent it, they beat it. See problem one. And you've spent your trust on a tool that didn't even hold. Here's the deeper thing under both problems. Every lock, every contract, every app does the managing for them. And the whole goal, the thing this entire episode is about, is a kid who can manage them themselves when you are not there. A lock that works perfectly until they are 18 and then vanishes the day they move out has built nothing inside them. It just postponed the reckoning to the exact moment you can't help. So, younger kid, limit as a training wheel, fine. But the training wheel has to be coming off deliberately as they grow and replaced by the thing that actually lasts, their own ability, their own agency to see the machine and stop themselves. And on contracts, a phone agreement is fine, but only if it's negotiated with them, not imposed on them. So let's be honest about what taking the phone away actually does. Because it's not nothing, it's worse than nothing. When you confiscate the phone, three things happen. First, you become the enemy instead of the design. The moment you are the one removing it, the phone becomes the thing your teen is being deprived of by you. You've taken the manipulation machine and made yourself its rival. And now they want it even more. And they want it partly because you are against it. You've handed the design an ally, their resistance to you. Second, you teach them nothing portable. A kid whose phone gets taken away learns exactly one skill: how to get through the confiscation until they get it back. Not how to manage the thing, how to wake you out. And here's where that bill comes due. Not now, but later, when you can't see it. Picture them at 19. Dorm room, no one checking, no one to take anything away. It's 2 a.m., there's an exam at 8, and they are still scrolling. Because the only break they ever had was you, and you are not in the building. The kid who had their phone managed for them for 18 years walks into the first room where nobody manages it, and they have nothing on their own to stop with. That's the cost, not they learn to wait. Is that the day your control ends, they are handed the full machine with zero training and no internal break. You delayed the problem for the moment you are not there to help. Third, you lose the information. A teen who's been policed goes underground. Second phone, Finsta, the app moved into a folder behind the folder, the messages deleted nightly. You didn't reduce the behavior. You reduced your visibility. Now it's happening exactly the same amount and you can't see any of it. So, more wanting, no skill, less visibility. That's the return on taking the phone away. It feels like control, but it's the opposite. All right, so if control doesn't work, what does? You stop fighting the design and you recruit your teen to fight it with you. The phone is not the enemy. It's not the enemy you share with your teen. The design is the enemy you share with your teen. The second you both turn and look at the design together, you are on the same side for the first time. Because there is one thing a teenager hates more than rules: being manipulated, being played, being treated like a mark. No teenager on earth wants to find out they are the product and that their attention is being harvested and sold while they thought they were just watching videos. There's not a lecture they will roll their eyes at. There's an insult to their intelligence. And teenagers are very sensitive to their intelligence being insulted. You are not telling them to stop. You are telling them someone's been making a fool of them. Before I get into exactly how you do that, if this is already landing, if you've left the phone, came back and nothing changed thing, hit follow and leave a rating. 2 seconds, it helps other parents find this and you won't miss the companion episode coming next. Okay, back to it. So, how do you actually turn your teen against the design instead of against you? You don't explain it to them. You get them to see it themselves. Seeing beats told every time, especially with teenagers who discard anything that sounds like a parent opinion and keep anything they figured out on their own. So, here's how you can make them see it. 1. Show them how the machine actually makes money, not that it does. How? Most teens already know apps make billions from ads. That's not the revelation. The revelation is the mechanism, and it runs in 2 stages. Stage 1. Every single thing they do on that app is being recorded. Every video they pause on, every post they linger over half a second too long, everything they tap, skip, replay. They are not just watching, they are being read. Each step profiles them, labels them, sorts them into buckets advertisers pay for. That's the product, not the app. Them. A profile of your kid so precise it knows what they want before they do. But they build it one tap at a time. Sold to whoever's buying. Stage 2. The whole design exists to keep them in there as long as possible. Because the longer they stay, the more they get profiled, and the more ads they are sold. So the only question the app is really asking is, how do we keep this person from putting it down? And here's the answer it landed on. The elephant in the room. It feeds them whatever human beings can look away from, which is not the calm stuff, it's the rage, the fight, the crash, the cruel comment, the disaster, the thing that makes your stomach drop. Why those? Because that's how people are wired. And it's older than phones. Think about a car accident on the motorway. Everybody slows down to look. Nobody decides to. You just do. Shock, danger, conflict. The human brain is built to stop and stare because for 100,000 years, stopping to look at the threat is what kept us alive. The app didn't invent that wiring. It looked for it and it pulls that lever all day long. That's why the feed drifts harder, darker, angrier, more extreme. The longer you watch, not because the world is ending, but because angry and shocking is what keeps you stuck. And stuck is what pays. Your kid is watching it because a machine found the oldest reflex in the human brain and started pulling it for money. Say that to your teen plainly. Don't moralize it. Just lay out the 2 stages and the car crash reflex and let it sit. The injustice does its own work because no one likes finding out their own instincts are being farmed. 2. Run the noticing experiment together on paper. This is what turns the claim into something they can catch with their own eyes. And doing it together is what keeps you the ally instead of the enemy or the inspector. Here's the move. For 3, 4, 5 days, both of you keep a tiny log, not a project, a line. Each of you notes the day and the hour every time the feed hands you something you never chose, never searched, never followed, never asked for. That's it. You do it too on your own phone and you compare. Watch for 3 things and note them down. The thing you didn't want to see, the way the feed subtly tilts darker or angrier when you stop on something shocking. Stop on one fight and count how fast the next 3 arrive. The log matters because it makes it undeniable. A vague, yeah, the app's manipulative changes nothing. 3, 4 days of timestamps in their own handwriting, sitting next to yours, is evidence. It's evidence they generated themselves. And what they prove to themselves, they keep. It's evidence they generated themselves. And what they prove to themselves, they keep. The second your teen sees the machine working on them in their own notes, something flips. It stops being their fun against you are against. The second your teen sees the machine working on them, in their own notes, something flips. It stops being their fun thing you are against. It becomes a thing being done to them. And no teenager tolerates being handled. When your kid starts spotting the pattern, your war with the screen time is over. And not because the phone went away, because they stopped being on its side. 3. Put yourself on their team out loud, because most of you struggle with it too. Say so. I do this too. I pick up my phone to check one thing, and I lose 10 minutes. It's not built for me to win. We are both up against the same thing. The moment you admit you are a subject to the same design, you stop being the authority confiscating the device, and you become the ally fighting the same enemy. That's the position you want. From there, every conversation about the phone is us versus the design instead of you versus me. Now your team is going to push back here, and they are right to. Okay, so the machine's playing me, but I actually like my feed. I want my funny videos. Am I just supposed to suffer? No. And this is the part that turns them from victim into operator. Because once you can see the machine, you can also drive it. The same system that profiles them takes instructions. Tell them, you are not stuck with what it serves you. You can train it on purpose. Scroll past the rage bait fast. Don't stop. Don't comment. Even to argue. Because the machine reads your 3 seconds of fury as give me more of this. Stop and actually watch the stuff you genuinely want more of. Use the buttons most kids never touch. Not interested. Don't recommend this. Hit them ruthlessly. Within a few days, the feed bends. That's the flip from being used to being the user. The kid who knows the machine reads every pose can start feeding it the right poses on purpose and curate a feed that's actually theirs. You don't take the funny videos away. You teach them to make the funny videos win. One honest caveat though, and say it straight. Even a perfectly trained feed, even the funniest, cleanest stuff in the world, 3 hours of it is still 3 hours. The machine isn't the only problem. Time is its own problem. A brain, yours, mine, a teenager's, isn't built to be fed anything in a non-stop stream for hours, however good it is. So seeing the machine clearly is most of the job, but not living the whole day inside it is the rest. I want to be honest about what success actually looks like here, because it's not what the phone confiscating fantasy promised. It does not look like a teenager who puts the phone away and picks up a book. Let that fantasy go. It looks like a teen who scrolling mutters, okay, this is obviously trying to make me angry, and keeps a little piece of themselves back. It looks like them catching the 20 minutes gone and being annoyed at the app, not at you. It looks like them telling you something they noticed. Did you know if you watch one sad video, the whole feed goes sad? Which means they are now running the experience on their own for life. That's the win. You win by putting a person inside it who can see it for what it is.